Oh, to quote the legend that is Harvey Price, and a big watcher of this channel, by the way, what a day. Because that was very, very anti-climatic. I had the champagne on ice. I thought the 11-year curse was going to be broken today. But what do Man United do? They go and pull their finger out a week ago and finally sack the dead man walking. And had they have not sacked Eric Ten Hag, I truly believe that we would have got something at Old Trafford today. But had my auntie had a set of bollocks, I truly believe that maybe I'd be calling her my uncle. So it's one of those ones, really. Can't break the 11-year curse. New manager bounce. Knew it would be difficult. But for me, it was a clash of styles today. And unfortunately, sometimes styles gel, and today they just very, very much didn't. There was chances for both teams, but there was no real quality. There were moments, there were little bits of, would I say good play? No, maybe individual brilliance, and I'm not just talking about Chelsea, I'd also say from Man United, but at the end of all of it, I think a draw is a fair result. I really do. But here's the good news, right? We now move into the top four. Now, if before a ball was kicked at the start of this Premier League season, or even after a ball was kicked, after we had lost on the opening day to Manchester City, I said to you that 10 games in, Enzo Maresca's Chelsea are going to be sitting in the top four. I think that I would have been very, very happy with that. Now, when we look at the little run of games that we've been on that culminates next weekend when Arsenal, who are struggling to win away, come to Stamford Bridge, if you had said to me at the start of that run of games where we had Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United and Arsenal, and you had said to me, Joey, how many points do you want from those games? I'd have said 12. But being a little bit less, deluded and being optimistic, I'd say, I'd go, do you know what? I'll take 9, I'll take 8. But being a realist, I would have took 7. And I would say that when Arsenal come to Stamford Bridge next Sunday, the pressure's all on them. It really is make or break for them, because if they don't beat us on Sunday, I think their season domestically is pretty much over. And I think that Arsenal will need to come to Stamford Bridge now next Sunday, and I think they will need to take the game to us. They will need to push forward, and they can't just do what Man United did today, which was ultimately be very defensively organised and look to get those chances on the counter-attack, because I believe that the impetus, is that a word? I think it is on Arsenal to win. If they don't win, they can wave bye-bye to their title race after 11 games of the season. And the fact that they will come and try to play football against us, offensive football against us, not only just to come there and get 3 points, which is obviously going to be most important for us, but also to put in a performance that's going to inspire their players going forward, who will be jet lagged after coming back from Italy. I believe that we are going to absolutely do them. And that means that I believe that we are going to reach that 7-point mark. And do you know what? I'm so confident that I've even just gone and had it tattooed on my arm, 7. Because I thought that we were going to get 7 points out of those fixtures. And I truly do believe that we are going to beat Arsenal next weekend. So there's the good news. But why am I optimistic? Well, fuck knows why. Because we hardly played any good football today. And it almost seems a little bit like when Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson don't turn up to the party, then we're looking round and we're looking for who can turn up at the moment right now. But before we break down the match and get in to all of it, I want you lot to do me a massive favour. Subscribe to the channel. This is the Joey Knight podcast, by the way. If you didn't already know, if you already did know, that means you are a fully fledged member of the hardcore, which means I absolutely love you. But if you're not, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. Right, we can see the team sheet on the screen now, and there was no real changes. There was literally one change from the team that myself and the big dog Joshua Veste, who, by the way, I'm in the studio with tomorrow, predicted before the game. Now, we predicted Well, I wouldn't really say we even predicted. We just wanted Cucurella to start, and Cucurella didn't start. He went with Malo Gusto as the inverted fullback, and Reece James once again at left back. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've had a look at some of the reaction already online, some of the player ratings and stuff like that. Reece James has been scored quite high today. I wouldn't score him low, I wouldn't score him high. I'm still yet to be convinced that this whole reset left back thing is working, and I'm starting to feel like maybe this is a case of getting Reece in the team. And the weird thing for me, and I'm going to upset a few here, is as much as I love and admire Malo Gusto, I don't believe that Malo Gusto has done more to warrant his place in the team than Cucurella. Now remember, in life there's middle ground. Two things can be afflicting or conflicting and both be right at the same time. So has Malo Gusto done enough to warrant a starting berth in the Chelsea team? Oh my God, yes, he has. He has saved us from being in crisis moments when our captain and our leader, Reece James, has been unavailable. But now he's back, I don't believe that the pick needs to be between Reece and Cucurella. I believe the choice that Enzo Maresca needs to be making is between Reece and Malo Gusto, and therefore I believe that Reece should be starting for this moment in time ahead of Malo Gusto, although I do understand that he gives you different versatilities, and not only that, I still believe that we are, albeit starting Reece James and playing him, I think that's his third start in a row in the Premier League, I believe that we are still wrapping him in cotton wool a little bit, and we're just trying to nurse him back a little bit. So things may change as it goes on. The one thing I don't want to change is the midfield pivot, which obviously does have Malo Gusto inverted into it, but it is Caicedo, it is Romeo Lavia. Caicedo today I thought was immense. We'll speak about his performance. Romeo Lavia, maybe not as much. Not a bad game, but definitely not as good in the second half as I thought he was in the first half. Cole Palmer up top with Madueke one side of him, Pedro Neto the other side of him, as we predicted, by the way, and then Nicholas Jackson through the middle. Now let's get in to some of the talking points of the game. The first chance of the match comes after Caicedo intercepts in midfield. Cole Palmer then runs towards goal, and I feel like he could have let a shot off earlier, but at the same time, when you look at the goal that he scored against Newcastle, I was almost looking at that one and thinking he could hit that earlier. He didn't, and he still beat Nick Pope with it. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to beat De Ligt with this one, because De Ligt gets down to it, blocks it, and Palmer's shot ultimately doesn't test the goalkeeper. Now on the 13-minute mark, we hit the post for a Noni Madueke header. I originally thought it was a Wesley Fofana header. I'm guessing you lot thought the same, but when we saw the replay, it was actually Noni Madueke who hits the post. It was the closest opportunity of the match to date, and do you know what? If that one had gone in, again, it could have been such a different match, because it would have forced Man United out. And I'm not saying Man United played a low block or anything like that, but I think that they didn't go for it in the style that I expected a Ruud van Nistelrooy team to go for it. Now, if you look at the stats, the shots will show you that Man United, I think, had one more shot than us today. We had a little bit more possession than them. But ultimately, the way I saw it was Man United defensively were pretty good today. They did a really good job of keeping Cole Palmer quiet, which was probably priority number one. They did a good job of keeping Nicholas Jackson quiet. I thought that Pedro Neto's battle, I should say, against Diogo Dalot was one that was interesting and one that was quite 50-50, but I wouldn't say either man won it, and Madueke not doing too much over on that other side, despite the fact I did just say that he hit the post. 22 minutes in, Man United have a chance, edge of the area. Garnacho tests Robert Sanchez, but the Spaniard makes the save comfortably. 35 minutes in, Reece James gives away the ball to Ugarte, who drives forward. He progresses it onto the edge of the box, and there's a foul there, right? But the ref blows too quick, and it's weird because normally you're supposed to kind of let the play run out, and a lot of these refs, because they change the rules more often than fucking the weather, a lot of these refs aren't used to it. So he blows the whistle, but as he blows it, I think it's Højlund, isn't it, who has the shot. Now, Robert Sanchez gets down. He doesn't know that you know, the goal probably wouldn't have counted, or fuck knows what would have happened in that situation. And he makes a really, really good save there. Just as good for the referee that he did make that save, because what would he have done, really? But ultimately, that was it. And at half-time, for once, I actually kind of had to agree with Gary Neville, because Gary Neville said that it wasn't really a match of very high standards. We weren't seeing the passages of play that we're usually seeing from Chelsea at this moment in time, the link-up play that we're usually seeing. It was very much a match that was scrappy, and the opportunities were coming from mistakes. So it would be Man United would make a mistake, Caicedo would get in there, seize upon it, and then we would break on them, have an opportunity, and no final products there. The same really for Man United. On the run of play at half-time, I kind of felt like Chelsea were going to get there. And I kind of felt like if we could get the right balls through from Cole Palmer to Nicholas Jackson, or from someone else to Cole Palmer, then potentially we might be able to get ourselves in front. I also felt like maybe Noni Madueke needed to come off and Mykhailo Mudryk needed to come on. That was something that happened in the second half and gave us a little bit of a different dimension. And I like the way that in games now we can switch over with Pedro Neto. Rather than bringing him off, we can make a substitution, put him over onto the other wing, and it just means that for the second half, the fullback has something completely different to have to come up against, you know, because Diogo Dalot is Portuguese, isn't he? So is Pedro Neto, so those players will know each other from international duty and whatnot. And yeah, as I say, at half-time, I'm looking at that midfield battle, and I wouldn't say I was buzzing with it, but I thought that Lavia was performing well. I thought he was performing, and I know this is going to sound like a dig now, but I thought he was performing better than Enzo would have been in that same sort of situation. I thought Caicedo was performing really well, and we were winning that midfield battle against Ugarte and against a player in Casemiro, who obviously Jamie Carragher is, you know, very confident isn't good enough to be playing Premier League football. And, you know, Jamie Carragher says it, then it must be fact. Second half, Cucurella comes on for Gusto. He switches with Reece James, so they're both now on their natural sides. 10 minutes into the second half, Pedro Neto comes within a whisker, and I mean a whisker, right, of opening the scoring with a low-drilled, left-footed effort. He beats Onana, but he also beats the post. And that one was a really, really close chance, really close opportunity. And now I'm thinking about this. Obviously, I know that Rashford, we'll speak about it, had his chance just before half-time when he hit the post. But now we're speaking about it, and I'm kind of looking back on the chances. Maybe the better chances did fall at the hands of Chelsea. Just after the hour mark, Pedro Neto gets another shot off. This time, not too much on it. And Onana releases the ball. Man United go up the other end. Bruno feeds Garnacho. He's in acres of space, really, in the box. But he scuffs it, and it almost just looks like neither team want to score at this point, you know, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, are these lot just happy to share the points? But ultimately, they weren't, because 67 minutes in, Man United win the penalty. Casemiro, again, don't know what he's doing on the pitch, because if Jamie Carragher says you're not good enough to play football, you're not good enough to play football, and he dinks a ball over the top. It is Højlund. Did I say Garnacho won the penalty originally? It was Højlund, wasn't it? He takes it past Sanchez. And do you know what it is, right? I am yet to be sold on Højlund, and I don't think he's a very clinical striker at this moment in time. So had Sanchez not popped that hand out and tried to get to the ball, I honestly do think that Højlund wouldn't have converted the chance. I think that Højlund wouldn't have wanted to take it on his left foot. Is his left foot his weaker one? I think it is. I don't think he'd have wanted to take it there. Maybe if it's his strong foot, he would have done. I don't even know what his strong foot is, Højlund. Don't watch enough of him because he's a bit shit. No, joking. But not that joking. And yeah, I think he would have took another touch, cut it back, and then I think we would have got players back behind it. But ultimately, Robert Sanchez does make contact, and therefore penalty is given. And unlike last season at Old Trafford, Robert Sanchez can't save this one from Bruno Fernandes. He steps up, he converts from the spot, he makes it 1-0 to Man United, and at this point I'm worrying, because I'm thinking we're not creating enough. And let's be honest, the players that we look to this season, like, you got to think about it. Who are the players that week in, week out, we feel that we can rely on? Now, Cole Palmer is the man that springs to mind, and he's having a quiet game. And it doesn't matter whether Cole Palmer's having a quiet game, because he's got the ability to always produce a bit of magic. But other than that, who consistently, week in, week out, never plays bad, always puts in a good performance? I can only name one, and that's Moises Caicedo. And Moises Caicedo's not really that much of a goal scorer, is he? Or is he? Because the ball drops from a corner 74 minutes in, and Moises Caicedo smashes it past Onana on the volley. And do you know what? You don't see him do it too often. We see it against Spurs last season. The goal was ruled out, and then we got given a penalty, and it was all fucking random as fuck. But it was a great goal from a phenomenal player. And Moises Caicedo today rolls his sleeves up and pulls us out of the mud. And ultimately helps. You know when they say rolls his sleeves up, right? Why does no player wear a long sleeve anymore? Idega Johnson used to love a long sleeve. Do you remember? Like, is it a sponsor thing? How come no player wears a long sleeve no more? I used to love the long sleeves. I used to go into the Chelsea Megastore. Do you remember where the Megastore used to be? On the corner, opposite the pub, by the Cotform Hotel, where the Megastore used to be before they moved it to the big Megastore. I used to go in there, and I was always getting the long shirts. I thought it was the bollocks in them long shirts, man. I really, really thought they made me look really, really cool. And do you know what the good thing with the long shirts is? Because they were longer, you could wear them to all sorts of occasions, you know, because you wouldn't get cold. So, Year 6 school disco, Chelsea goalkeeper kit. Nan's funeral, Chelsea away, long sleeve, Fly Emirates. Yeah. Dad's 40th, Chelsea home kit, blue, Fly Emirates. The long sleeves were great. Where was I going with this? Caicedo, yeah, great goal. Absolutely great goal. Opens his account for the season, and he only scores screamers, doesn't he, Caicedo? He don't do tap-ins, he only scores screamers, whether it's from his own halfway line, whether it's smashing one in against Spurs that they disallowed for no reason, or whether it's this one where it drops to him on the volley against Man United. Caicedo is a man that knows how to hit a ball, and just seconds later, a man who doesn't really know how to hit a ball when it comes to striking one and actually scoring a goal in Enzo Fernandez has the opportunity to put us 2-1 up after he is subbed on. Now the ball comes forward, the lit sort of falls over, Jackson's there, but he's got his back to goal, but it's alright because we've got a player there who only really needs to slot it in. He puts it back to Enzo Fernandez, and Enzo Fernandez does time out. What I say on the channel, it's Enzo hate. It's Enzo hate, even though the evidence and the data is there for you every single time. I never say anything bad, do I? I never go, oh, Enzo's a shit player. Oh, Enzo doesn't deserve to get even on our bench. Enzo this. All I say is Enzo's bang average when it comes to shooting. And the stats would show that. And the eye test would show that. But because I've now said it, I'll get, oh, you're an Enzo hater in the comments. But Enzo should have put that shot away. And do you know what he needed to do? He needed to do one of the lovely little threaded balls that we see him do every time he goes away on international duty to Argentina and pass it into the back of the net. Instead, he hits it straight at Onana, right? So, if it was on target, Onana would have saved it. Unfortunately for us, it was down the middle and it was too high. So, the shooting from the Argentinian definitely needs to be worked on, and there's a lot that needs to be worked on, because despite Romeo Lavia not having his best game today, things still looking a little bit bleak for Enzo Fernandez when it comes to getting back into that first team. And do you know what? We'll get onto this tomorrow, me and Josh, when we're in the studio, but we need to speak about Andre Santos, because I've been looking at his numbers on SofaScore and on Scorecard, and I've been looking at, obviously, I ain't been sat down watching full Strasbourg games, but I've been looking at highlights and whatnot, and he's looking a player over there. He really, really is. So he could be someone that comes back in next season and does play a bit of a role for us when we eventually get Champions League football, which we're in the spots of right now. So let's not complain too much. And from the 80th minute, to be honest, it is all Chelsea. Like, I think it was 5% of the possession from the 80th minute onwards was played inside our final third, and the rest of the possession all played, the majority of which in Man United's final third. So we're piling on the pressure a little bit. Both Mudryk and Palmer sort of whipping balls in, but Onana are actually doing well getting out to them, and even he's getting frustrated because he's grabbing them, he's getting them, and he's thinking, right, let's start a counter-attack. But Man United show their ambition, and their ambition is that they are happy to draw with us. They just wanted to draw in this one. Do you know what I mean? So, what can you do? When a team are... Listen, Man United were like a bunch of stoners, mate. They were at home and they just wanted to draw. So, there you go. But either way, it is what it is. Yeah, I think the only credit I can really give us is that we were trying to win the game. And as I say, sometimes a game just doesn't click, and you'll get people that will walk away and they'll go, well, see, this is why Chelsea need a number 9, this is why Chelsea need X, Y and Z, this is why Chelsea need to bring Raheem Sterling back. No, I don't think anyone's drunk that much. But no, either way, sometimes they'll say that, but ultimately I don't really think it matters. What I think matters is that since the days that Fergie left, Man United and Old Trafford in general has improved an unhappy hunting ground for us, I should say. And do you know what it is? It just carried on like that today. I'm sure we'll beat them at home, but it's one of those ones. I feel disappointed. Look, I don't want to come in here and be branded the positivity police again or whatever, but I feel disappointed because on the run of form that we've been on, the way we've played this season, the quality we have, and the players that are performing to the level that they are, I think we're a good enough team to be beating Man United. We've got multiple players that are performing consistently this season. Whereas who have you got at Man United who's consistently performing this season? The only player that really springs out to me is Garnacho. Maybe I don't watch enough of them. Maybe you lot will tell me others. Obviously, Kobbie Mainoo's been out injured a little bit and whatnot. But despite that, I don't know, I kind of do feel like league positions go out the window a little bit. So, have we missed an opportunity? Yes. Have we missed a golden opportunity? No. 10 games into the season, when we look back after 38 games, we might look at it and go, it's good that we didn't drop points at Old Trafford completely and come away with nothing, and we got that 1 point, because that could be the difference. Things are going to be tight. And when you look at this weekend, Arsenal, City, Aston Villa and Brighton have all come away from this weekend with 0 points. Chelsea have come away with 1 point away from home at Old Trafford, and that's something to be positive about, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It is something to be positive about, and I don't know. On the quality that we've shown so far, we do need to be winning these games, but we definitely don't need to be losing them, and at least we didn't do that today. And now we're looking for a response, which, yes, you can say on Thursday night that's going to come against Noah, the Ark, game that I'm going to be at, but ultimately it will be a different starting 11 in that game, and the real response will come against Arsenal, and I think that we are going to do them. I think the pressure's going to get to them, and I think they're going to fold. I think Arsenal are going to crack at Stamford Bridge, and I honestly believe that we're going to get something there. Am I too optimistic? You lot tell me. Who knows? I'm in the studio with Josh tomorrow. I'm going to be reading through your comments when this video drops. So as always, because we'll be speaking a little bit about this game, we'll be previewing the Noah game, because obviously Noah's a team that we all know a lot about the history of the club and what they stand for and whatnot. And, you know, I couldn't even tell you what colour kit Noah playing. I don't know nothing about Noah. I don't know her enough about him. Dad jokes, eh? Yeah, so we'll answer some of your questions. So get them in the comments. Chelsea, non-Chelsea, doesn't matter. Get them in the comments. We will answer them. Let me know your thoughts on today's game. Let me know your thoughts on Enzo Maresca's management from the touchlines. And how do you feel? We're fourth after 10 games gone. And if we beat Arsenal next week, then we're very much still in it, aren't we? If we beat Arsenal, how can you put Arsenal in a title race and not us? I don't believe we are, but we're in that top 4 race, and it's a good thing with Villa and Brighton and the rest of them that were around us dropping points this weekend. So I'm not too pessimistic. I'm happy enough with it. You lot let me know your thoughts. I will see you all in the next one.